In today's Health Watch, when should seniors stop driving? Every day in the U.S., more than 500 drivers over the age of 65 are injured in accidents. About 15 of them are killed.
But giving up the car keys for good is a difficult and emotional decision. Amy Goyer is a family issues expert with the AARP. She's here along with CBS This Morning contributor Lee Woodruff. Welcome to you both. And I guess both of you all know this topic very, very well. Let's start with you, Lee.
We're living it.
You know, this is what I say. I lost both my parents. So when I'm thinking I would give anything to have to deal with this kind of issue. But since you're here and you're living through it right now, Lee, I know that it's a very difficult thing.
It's a difficult thing when all of a sudden you're the parent, all of a sudden you're the adult, and you're not prepared for that. That's almost a separate issue. But about 3 years ago, my dad who has dementia and probably Alzheimer's. He's 78. He's still pretty young in the scheme of things. It was very obvious that his driving was beginning to be affected. And we are 3 girls, and here's our dad. He's iconic to us. And we had to start the conversation. And what we ended up doing, because he was very, resistant to the idea it's his independence, and he's the man, and he drives mom around, is we said, let's make a deal. If we'll go out for an independent testing, and if they say you can't drive, then you have to listen to us. And if they say you can, then we'll listen to you and let you drive.
So how did you know it was time?
Well, when
what were you seeing?
Yeah, well, driving too fast.
Yeah.
Getting too close to pedestrians, and just knowing that because he was beginning to go down cognitively, that absolutely he shouldn't be at the wheel, because our biggest nightmare was that he would injure someone else. So he failed the test. He lived up to his end of the bargain, but it was really difficult to see him diminished in that way.
It's also hard, too, to put yourself in that. We went through this with my father when he was ill. Now, my mom, was still there taking care of him before he passed, but it's when it's their last bit of independence.
Right.
And there was some talk in our family that had been done in another way. Finally, we called the local police, and they pulled my uncle's father over. Amy, you say
called the police?
Well, my uncle did on his father, who was
okay.
older, and that was the easiest way because it was so contentious in their family. But you say that should really be a last resort to go that route.
It really is. People who, they report that when they want to talk about this kind of situation, they want to hear it from their spouse, they want to hear it from their physician, maybe their adult children, but the police is the last person that they want to hear it from. So it's better if you can try some other approaches, have the conversation early and often. That's what we did with my parents and my dad's driving. My mom had a stroke when she was 63, so she didn't drive for years. And like you, my dad drove my mom around.
But Amy, you know what I like what you said? You say don't use the phrase "we're taking away the keys,"
right?
Which I think is key. Maybe it's the language that you use that is so frightening.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, your parents are your parents. You need to be respectful. They will always be your parents. There's that situation of, I'm going to come in and tell you what to do. Who's going to react well to that? How would you feel if someone did that to you? This is a choice to hang up the keys.
So say hang up the keys.
Exactly.
And you can go about it gradually, you say, too. And this is almost like the decision, or the deal, I should say, that you and your sisters made with your father.
Right, and oftentimes they begin to edit themselves. My dad sort of stopped driving at night at first, and then of course you can say, let's just do local driving, and you can begin to shrink the world a little bit. But there are challenges to this. Amy and I were talking in the green room. What then steps in as the new mode of transportation? Many of us don't live near our parents, and community resources are often underfunded right now. And there are lots of challenges, but by working with your parents and with local people in the community, you can come up with solutions.
Right, you really have to have those options when you have the conversation. If you're going to talk about this, talk when you can make gradual changes. Most older drivers will modify their own habits. They'll drive, not drive at night. That's what my dad did. Stayed within the radius close to home. But they won't all do that. So you need to have those conversations and say, here's an option.
Have the resources ready to go, too.
Right.
Lee, Amy, thank you. Good to have both of you here.
Thank you.